whispered through the banyan leaves, 1,000 lives in every breeze. Drums that pulse, they softly tease. Time folds the stories we. Echoes rise, they call us near. Through shadowed past, the path is clear. Blasian tales, the heart can hear. A world reborn in every tear.
Before we dive into today's episode, I need everyone's attention because a true legend just stepped into the spotlight. Among all the voices, all the comments, and all the energy in this community, one name rose above the rest. A big shout out to Jennels at Jennels 6352. Thank you for being part of this journey from the start. Your support means more than you know, and legends like you are what make this channel grow. Truly appreciated, always remembered.
Echoes rise, they call us near. Through shadowed past, the path is clear. Blasian tales, the heart can hear. A world reborn in every tear.
After 2 years, I was back in Blasian, the place that took everything from me. I had rented the whole beach for the evening because I wanted to be alone. I stood by my once favorite beach in Qingguo and closed my eyes as memories from the past flooded my mind. Her beautiful smile and the warmth of her body pressed against mine as we stared at the stars together. Ivy was everything to me until she was snatched away so cruelly. I opened my eyes and stared at the water, hoping its calmness would soothe my turbulent heart. All of a sudden, something caught my attention. Floating and approaching from a distance, I tried to make out what it was. I took a few steps closer, dipping my legs into the water. I gasped when I realized it was a person, a woman, and judging by the way she looked, I knew she was dead. I turned and wanted to leave, but a question struck my mind. What if she wasn't dead? What if Ivy was in a similar situation and needed help? Would I have turned my back on her? I had to make sure. Turning back to face the floating body, I braced myself, went much deeper into the water, and pulled the body out. It was a young woman, lying face up. Her face had been badly damaged and looked so horrible that no one would be able to recognize her. It seemed as though an animal had chewed off various parts of the flesh on her face, and she had injuries on her hands too. From the uniform she wore, it seemed like she was a prisoner. Did she die while trying to escape? I noticed that a bullet was lodged in her shoulder and knew without a doubt that she must have died while trying to flee. It wasn't my Ivy. Still, I found myself feeling sorry for her. Her body had turned white, which was a sign that she had lost a lot of blood. I didn't know how long she had been floating in the sea, but the smell on her body was very unpleasant. I stood up and turned to leave. I had to wash my hands and bathe thoroughly. Just as I turned, however, a thought crossed my mind, and I told myself that it wouldn't harm to make certain that she was dead. I touched her wrist, and my eyes widened in shock when I felt her pulse. It was very weak, but it was there. This is impossible, I told myself. How can this be? Her desire to live had to be very strong, and my first instinct was to save her life. Without hesitation, I took off my jacket, covered her face, and lifted her off the sand. I quickly carried her to my car, put her in the back seat, and drove her to the hospital. Outside her ward where the doctors worked on her, I paced up and down, waiting for news from the doctors. 2 hours later, the lead doctor came out and sighed. "How is she?" I asked. He led me to his office and said, "She is stable, but I can't exactly say if or when she would ever open her eyes. But the more serious problem is her skin. Even if she woke up, she would be horrified by her reflection. If you give your consent, I can get a plastic surgeon to work on her skin, especially her face." I nodded. "Okay, doctor, just go ahead and do that. Also, get someone to change her clothes and clean her up every day." "That is easy," the doctor replied. "But what did she look like? A picture would help the plastic surgeon to restore her looks." I thought for a while. I didn't know who this person was or what she looked like. There was nothing on her that showed her name either. Her prisoner uniform had a number, but it had almost completely wiped off, and I could not make out what it was from what was left. I finally had an idea and took out a picture from my wallet. It was Ivy's picture. "Is this what she looked like before now?" the doctor asked. "Yes," I lied. "Please, no one should know about this, okay? Call me when she wakes up." After paying a huge sum of money, I left the hospital. I called once a month to find out how the woman in the hospital was doing, but got the same response each time. I focused on other important things in my life until 4 months later when I received a call from the doctor who told me, "She is awake." I quickly drove to the hospital and was led to the room where she was being kept. She looked completely different from the faceless person I had seen 4 months ago. Sitting with her back leaning against the pillows, she kept looking between me and the doctor in confusion. My Adam's apple bobbed as my heart began to race. It was as though Ivy had come back to life. "I will give you both some privacy," the doctor said when he saw the way I was staring at her and walked out of the ward. "Get a grip, Hajun," I told myself inwardly. "She might have Ivy's face, but she is not the one." I walked toward the bed and sat down beside her as I asked softly, "What is your name?" "My name." Her brows drew together as she tried to remember what her name was. My name is," she shook her head. "I can't remember."
I stared at the man in front of me and could not help but admire him. How could a man be so beautiful? He was staring at me as though he was seeing me for the first time, but the emotions in his eyes. Was it love? It seemed he had feelings for me, but that would mean he knew who I was. Why did he ask me my name then? "Dr. Suho." He unexpectedly broke the ice as he called out the doctor's name. He stood up from the bed and moved away as he suddenly seemed troubled. The doctor, a tall and well-built man, walked in just as his name was called. "Is everything all right?" "Why can't she remember her name?" the beautiful man asked. The doctor came closer to me and asked, "Is there anything you remember? You can share it with me." I shook my head. "I don't remember anything." He smiled at me. "It's okay, don't be afraid. Everything is going to be fine." Turning to the beautiful man, he said, "I'm afraid we have to run some tests on her and also call in a specialist to see her. Only then can we be certain of what is wrong with her." The beautiful man nodded, but I could see the worry in his eyes. I realized without a doubt at that point that I was important to him. Was he important to me as well? I only wished I could remember. I was wheeled out of the hospital room and prepped for an MRI scan, among other tests. Afterward, a specialist was called in to speak with me. He asked me questions about my personal life, but nothing he said or did could help me remember anything. In the end, I was wheeled back into my room and placed on my bed. "What is wrong with me, Dr. Suho?" I asked, since there was no sign of the beautiful man. "I'm afraid you have lost your memories," the doctor revealed sympathetically. "But do not worry, it is not permanent. As I said before, everything will be fine in due time. For now, you should focus more on resting." The doctor's words gave me a reason to hope. Even though I couldn't remember anything special about the life I had lived, I didn't want to spend the rest of my life without my memories. When he left, I was all alone, but I couldn't get any rest. The beautiful man had disappeared, and I had no idea why. What if he didn't come back? I had earlier thought of asking the doctor, but I stopped myself. I sat up and decided to walk around my room. Since the doctor didn't say I had a problem with my legs, I didn't want to use a wheelchair anymore. I got down from the bed and began to walk around. At first, my legs felt heavy, but as I kept walking, they eventually became light. My movement was still slow, but I had a feeling it was because I had been in the hospital for a while. I spotted a mirror at the entrance of the bathroom and decided to see what I looked like. "Wow," I exclaimed when I saw my reflection. "I am so beautiful and my face is perfect." I couldn't say the same for my hair, though. It looked like it hadn't been washed or combed in ages. I touched my face, smiling as I felt how smooth it was. Eventually, I got tired of standing and decided to return to my bed and heed the doctor's advice of getting enough rest. Just as I climbed onto my bed, someone knocked on the door and pushed it open. "You came back," I beamed when I saw the beautiful man. He held a bag in one hand and a bouquet of flowers in the other hand. I adjusted my body as I sat up, leaning against the headboard. The man placed the bag and bouquet by my feet and sat beside me. I was about to speak when he reached out his hands and pulled me into his arms, enveloping me in a warm embrace. I closed my eyes and rested in his arms. Although I couldn't remember him, I felt safe in his arms and believed that he was someone I could trust. When he finally pulled away, he held my face and breathed, "It's time to take you home." Home? I had no idea where that was. Looking up at him, I asked, "How did I lose my memory?" He let go of my face and turned away from me as he spoke. "It was my fault. I should have been at your beach party, but I went to have that stupid meeting. They said you drowned and could not find your body all night, but I couldn't believe it. How could I lose you just like that? So I went to the beach after struggling with your supposed demise, hopping and wishing you would come out of the water." He turned to me when he added, "And you did. I saw you floating and could not believe my eyes. I still can't believe you are sitting right in front of me. I am so sorry." I could feel his pain as he spoke, but why was he still so sad? I survived, and that was what mattered. I reached out my hands and held his as I asked, "Who are you?" He pressed his lips together, and his eyes held so much love as he revealed, "I am your husband, Kim Hajun." My heart skipped a beat. My husband. Finding out that such a man was my husband made me feel over the moon, and I smiled. "Why are you smiling?" he asked. "It's because you are my husband," I revealed, and he smiled back. "Hajun, what is my name?" I asked. Ivy Kim," he responded without hesitation. "Here, I brought flowers for you." I took the bouquet of white roses from him, smelled them, and bubbled, "Thank you. They smell so nice." I had a lot of questions I wanted to ask him, but I knew it wasn't the right time. "I brought our marriage certificate, hoping it would jog your memory." He handed a marriage certificate to me that had our names on it. As I stared at the document, I felt a light pass through my eyes and briefly saw a beautiful lady in a white wedding dress with a bouquet of flowers in her hand. I could not see her face, but I could feel her happiness because it was me. Indeed, I was a married woman. "What are you thinking about?" Hajun asked. I shook my head. "Nothing." I didn't want to tell him that I had briefly remembered something. I decided I would tell him when I was sure. At the very least, I had confirmed the truthfulness of my doctor's words. "Do you have our wedding video?" I asked him, hoping it would further jog my memories. "I'm sorry, but I destroyed it," he replied. "When I thought I lost you, I could not stop watching it. I had to destroy it and everything else because I started having suicidal thoughts. I have been able to retrieve some pictures and videos, though." I stared at the man in front of me and wondered why he loved me so much. He showed me videos of us kissing and dancing, and pictures of us on a beach. We seemed so happy together, but I looked a little different because my hair was red and wavy, whereas the hair on my head was black and curly. But there was something else. "Why do I look skinny and older in the pictures and videos?" I asked. He began to stroke my hair. "I guess you changed a little after the accident. There's something else I need to give you." He took out a transparent little box from the bag on the bed and revealed a diamond-studded ring. "I believe this belongs to you, my love." He slipped the ring onto my marriage finger as he spoke. "It's so beautiful," I gushed. "You loved it before as well," he revealed as he kissed my hand, sending shivers down my spine. "Ivy, I'll take you to my family house instead of our home. You had a lot of interaction with my family before, and that's why I'm taking you there. The doctor said it will help you regain your memories, and that's what I want the most. You'll once again meet my sister, my cousin and his fiancé, and my mom." "Okay," I replied. "It's fine by me. I also brought a new dress for you to change into." He took out a beautiful blue dress from the bag on the bed and gave it to me. "Hajun, what about my parents?" I asked him. He went quiet and hesitated before finally saying, "I'm so sorry, Ivy. You grew up in an orphanage and I'm the only family you have." "Thank you for taking such good care of me," I whispered. "There's no need to thank me," he replied. "What other choice do I have? I love you so much that my heart only wants to do right by you." His words stirred feelings deep within me, so much so I almost told him I loved him too. I guess I had fallen in love with my husband at first sight. We were truly meant to be. He suddenly got up and said, "I'll wait outside while you quickly change into the blue dress." I watched in surprise as he walked out of the room. Was I not his wife? Why did he feel the need to give me privacy? As I got up and changed into the blue dress, I wondered if our relationship was a complex one. I had thought we were a happily married couple who were head over heels for each other. Was I wrong? The blue dress hugged my body, accentuating my hips and boobs. All done. I spoke a little loudly so he could hear me from outside. He came into the room, and his Adam apple bobbed when he saw me. He stood immobilized for a few seconds until his eyes turned red. Are you okay? I walked toward him as his actions both surprised and confused me. He nodded. Yes, I am. I think I have sand in my eyes. Sorry about that, I expressed. Unexpectedly, my legs buckled, and I squeaked as I found myself falling. My husband acted quickly, his strong arms catching my back before I landed on the ground. Are you okay? He asked as his arms held me affectionately. My legs feel weak, I revealed. He suddenly carried me, bridal style, and said, Don't worry, I got you. Picking up my bouquet, he carried me out of the hospital room and did not stop until we were in front of a fancy white car, which I presumed was his. He placed me in the car and drove out of the hospital. During the drive, I closed my eyes as I enjoyed the gentle breeze, fanning my face until I fell asleep. We are here, baby. His voice made me open my eyes, and I gasped at the mansion in front of us. I became convinced at that moment that my beautiful husband was a rich man. I guess I didn't have to worry about working until I regained my memories. My legs felt a lot better when he opened the door for me. Wanting to save him the trouble, I said, Don't worry, my legs are much better now. He smiled and placed his arm around my back as he led me to the door. After pushing it open, he tapped his forehead. Oh no, I forgot the bouquet. Go in and sit down while I quickly get the bouquet. I'll be back in a jiffy. I nodded and entered the large house. I heard voices and laughter and followed the sounds to the living room. Once there, I saw two ladies and a guy. They all sat down, talking and laughing. The moment they saw me, their voices ceased and they all got up and stared at me. Ivy, one of the girls exclaimed. She looked like Hajun, so I concluded that she was the sister he had spoken about. I felt bad that I couldn't recognize her, so I just smiled. Hi. She approached me and stood in front of me as she asked, Hi. I was about to tell her that I couldn't remember her because I had lost my memory. However, she raised her hands before I could speak and slapped me so hard as she glowered. How dare you show your face here again? I had a strong urge to raise my hand and return the slap, but I held myself back. I had no idea what my relationship with her was or why she slapped me. Nevertheless, her action left me curious. Was I someone who was easily bullied by others?
I stood by the window watching the young girl whom I had made to believe that she was my wife. My eyes widened in surprise when my half-sister, Rael, walked up to her and slapped her. I knew my family didn't like Ivy, but I never realized it was so bad. My mum had many times referred to her as a gold digger, but I thought that was it. I had my suspicions about their involvement in her death because they were all with her on the night she drowned. Her body was never recovered, and she was declared to have been lost forever at sea. All the money I paid and the extensive search I carried out for her did not yield any results. Since I couldn't find her, I had to at least find proof of who killed her. I owed her that much for not being at her birthday party that was supposedly thrown by my family on the night she needed me the most. I was not going to spare the culprit, even if it turned out to be my overbearing mom. As I stared at the shock on my wife's face, I recalled what the doctor had told me at the hospital. After her MRI scan and other tests were carried out, the doctor revealed that she was suffering from memory loss, but it was psychological and not neurological. Apparently, she had suffered something traumatic. No surprise there, since I had found her with a bullet lodged in her shoulder. When I had given her the face of my Ivy, I had planned to ask her to pretend to be her, for a short time. It was to help me catch the culprit, and I was sure she would have done it as gratitude for saving her life. I felt my hopes dashed to pieces when I learned of her memory loss. I was so distraught as all my efforts seemed like a waste until a perfect idea came to me. I was someone who hated lies. I never thought I would stoop so low, but I was desperate. Moreover, without her memories, I could not find anyone in her family. The doctor had already told me that she would regain her memories eventually. I would let her go when that time came, but until then, I needed her help. After observing her finger, I figured out her ring size. I didn't know if she was naturally a stubborn woman, so I had to go the extra mile just to gain her trust. The pictures and videos were all part of my plan to make her believe we were truly married. Of course, Ivy and I never got married, but I couldn't tell her that. If I was going to find out the truth, I needed to have a measure of control over her, and that would be easier if she believed she was my wife. All I had to do going forward was be a loving husband and let things naturally play out. It was very hard, staring at the face I loved more than my own life, but I could not back down. I would do anything for my Ivy. My cousin, Woobin, and his girlfriend, Jaya, stood watching in silence as Rael lashed out at Ivy. Seeing Rael hit Ivy and call her a whore, it dawned on me that in the past, it must have happened severally in my absence. Exactly what did my Ivy suffer at the hands of this so-called family of mine? Why did she keep it all from me? Was Rael the one who murdered her? I would kill her with my bare hands if I found out she was responsible for Ivy's death. But why were they not very shocked to see her when they all knew she was dead? Something did not add up. "Why did you slap me?" I heard my wife ask. Rael was about to speak when a voice bellowed, "What is this piece of trash doing here?" Hearing my mum's voice, I adjusted my position and saw her descending the stairs. What got me even more upset was the person beside her with her protruding tummy. How could I have forgotten about Jiwoo? She stuck to my mom's side like glue, using lies and deception, and kept having unrealistic dreams about being with me. I wanted to keep watching in secret and see what they were going to say and do. However, the blank look on my wife's face told me that it would be too cruel. I turned and quickly walked into the house. The moment Rael saw me, she smiled and hugged my wife as she gushed, "I can't believe you are standing right in front of me. I almost lost you, darling." I scoffed at her pathetic pretense. "Hajun," Jiwoo suddenly exclaimed and ran towards me. She opened her arms and tried to hug me, but I moved to the side. She ended up falling on her knees and cried out in pain. My mum quickly ran to her side, and in no time, all eyes were on her. Helping her to her feet, my mom snapped, "How can you do this to her, Hajun? For 2 months, Jiwoo has been calling your number, but you refuse to take her calls, and when you finally show up, this is what you do. She is 5 months pregnant, for crying out loud, and even if you dislike her, why can't you think about your unborn child?" "Your child?" my wife suddenly asked in surprise. "There's no need to act pitiful," my mom told her. "Listen to me, Ivy. You may be by my son's side for now, but it wouldn't be for long. Jiwoo is the wife I have chosen for him. She is carrying Hajun's child and will be the only one he marries." I shook my head and was about to tell Ivy not to pay attention to their nonsense. However, her eyes became red. I could see pain in her eyes, and it surprised me. I was not really her husband and was practically a stranger to her, so why was she hurt? Without a word, she turned and began to walk out of the house. I stared at her back in disbelief and back at my mom, who had a triumphant smile on her face. Jiwoo wanted to speak, but I stretched my hand out, showing her my palm and shushing her. Afterward, I ran after Ivy, and just outside the door, I noticed she had become weak and quickly placed my arm around her back. However, she turned and pushed my hand away as she gritted, "Let me go." "Would you believe others against your own husband?" I asked Ivy. "Do you not trust me anymore?" She scoffed. "Would a woman lie about the father of her pregnancy? Such things can't be hidden, and Jiwoo must know that. First off, if you did not have sex with her, there wouldn't be the issue of you getting her pregnant. Secondly, if your mom is vehemently supporting her, then she must be pregnant for you." "I can assure you that she is not," I maintained as I cupped her face. "Don't believe their words, baby. Everyone knows that you are my life. I love you more than anything else in the world." Jiwoo has always stuck around my mom, hoping that I would get married to her. Some months ago, when I thought you were dead, I got so depressed that I had too much to drink and became a little intoxicated. Jiwoo saw an opportunity and snuck into my room. She tried to seduce me, but I rejected her advances and kicked her out of my room. I had no idea where she spent the night, but when I woke up in the morning, she had snuck into my room again. It was in this same house. She claimed I slept with her, and my mom believed her words because that was what she wanted to believe. but I know without a doubt that I didn't touch her. She eventually came up with a positive pregnancy test result, and that's how she began to spread the lie that she was carrying my child and was my fiancé. I have never given her the time of day, and I never will. I promise. She sighed, Hajun, I don't want to be here. Nobody likes me here and they don't want me around. But I do, baby. I want you to get well. It is important for you to stay here because it will stir your memory. I want my Ivy back, the one who trusts me completely with all her heart. My mom and Jiwoo came out at this point. I hated Jiwoo so much that the sight of her always got me angry. As she stood beside my mom, staring at me, I inched my face closer to my wife's. She had her back to the two women and didn't know they were staring at her with so much hatred. The pain I had earlier seen in my wife's eyes had disappeared, and once again held love for me. I wanted to ask her if she loved me, but I figured the question would only make her suspicious of me. I kissed her forehead as I said in a voice audible for them all to hear, "You are my wife and that will never change. Ivy, I will never marry anyone else." She smiled and I pulled her into my arms, hugging her tightly. I surprisingly found myself feeling happy, as though I was truly with Ivy. It made me realize I was gradually believing my own lies to be the truth. "Wife," my mom exclaimed. I could see the shock on her and Jiwoo's faces. "You married her," my mom snorted. Ivy turned when she heard my mom's voice. She stared at the two women and back at me as she asked, "Do they not know that we are married?" I clasped my fingers with hers. I didn't tell them because I didn't want my mom to disturb our arrangements. "Mom, Ivy is not well, let her be. If anyone disturbs her, that person will have me to contend with." I wanted to lead Ivy back into the house, but Jiwoo opened her arms wide, blocking our way as she cried, "How can you do this to me after everything you promised me that night?" I sighed in frustration. "Fine. Let's get a DNA test done in 3 days, Jiwoo. Once the result comes out, you will pay dearly for your actions." "Hajun," my mom exclaimed. "How can you be so wicked? I know this tramp has bewitched you, but where is your sense of humanity? Do you have any idea about the dangers that are involved in taking embryonic fluid from the womb? How can you risk the life of your son?" I scoffed. "For God's sake, Mom, stop displaying your ignorance. Technology has long advanced, and prenatal paternity tests are completely harmless. All the doctor needs to do is take Jiwoo's blood and analyze the baby's DNA found in her bloodstream. Jiwoo, I hope you are ready for the consequences, once it is proven that the baby's DNA does not in any way match mine." I never bothered about this before because I knew the truth would still come out after you gave birth. However, it is upsetting my wife now, and that is unacceptable. She is the only woman I have ever had sex with, and that will never change. Until the result of the DNA test proves that you have a connection to me, keep your hands and your unborn bastard away from me, and get the hell out of my way before I make you. Jiwoo moved and stood behind my mom with tears in her eyes, but suddenly my mom stretched out her arms and said stubbornly, "I don't want her here. Ivy, get lost." I shook my head. "Mom, you seem to be forgetting that I built this house and let you guys live here. As my wife, Ivy is legally the owner of this house and she's letting you all live here for free. Don't make me get upset and kick you all out. Let's go, baby." Hearing my threats, both my mom and Jiwoo turned and went back into the house, while I lifted Ivy off the ground and carried her inside. Without further ado, I took her to a well-furnished bedroom and lay her on the bed as I said, "This will be your bedroom." She furrowed her brows in surprise. "We do not share a room." I didn't want to share a room with her because I knew how risky it could get. I didn't want any form of private intimacy with her, as I knew it was very wrong. However, the look on her face told me that she would figure out that we weren't really a couple if I did that. I smiled. "My bad. Of course, this is our bedroom. I need to get you a maid to help you around the house. You must be very hungry, so I need to get you food as well as good clothes. Rest here for a while, and I'll be back in no time." I kissed her cheek and said goodbye to her before leaving the room. Once I was outside, I saw my cousin, Woobin, and pulled him to the side. "Please keep an eye on my wife and make sure she's okay," I told him. "It's likely that I won't be back until tomorrow evening. I'm counting on you because I don't trust the other 3 women in this house." Wu Bin smiled and his eyes gleamed as he assured me, "Don't worry, I will make sure your wife is happy and comfortable." I smiled and patted his back. "Good." Afterward, I got into my car and drove away.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like, share and comment below.